Welcome back to the deep dive.
Right.
Today,
Yeah.
we're stepping into a reality that feels like kind of like a political thriller.
Yeah.
Donald Trump's second term
Really.
as president.
Um.
So imagine this:
Um.
a freezing January in D.C. The inauguration's moved indoors.
Hmm.
Not exactly the image of rugged masculinity we're used to seeing,
That
right?
really no.
But he is back
He is back.
in the Oval Office after impeachment,
Picture all of that.
indictments, even an assassination attempt.
It's a truly remarkable comeback story, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
He's framing it as a vindication, a
Correct.
testament to his resilience.
Mm.
But the sources you shared paint a picture that's more complex, I think, than
yeah.
the simple victory lap.
Interesting.
We're seeing tech billionaires like Elon Musk at his inauguration rubbing shoulders with politicians.
I saw that.
Some are even calling Musk's awkward wave a Nazi salute.
It's a strange mix.
Yeah.
It's a strange mix of power players and spectacle.
It is.
And I think it really speaks to
Yeah.
the unpredictable nature of this second term.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit. You're right. The sources definitely highlight that sense of unpredictability. The inauguration itself was unusual, and then there's the content of his speech. It was toned down in delivery.
Right.
But the words were still classic. Trump, drain the swamp, America first, all the familiar catchphrases.
Yeah.
But will those translate
That's the question.
into actual policy changes this time around?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And to understand that, we need to look at the specifics of what he's proposing.
Let's do it.
Let's start with immigration. He's declared a national emergency at the southern border, deployed troops, and is talking about mass deportations.
Okay.
We even see plans to revoke birthright citizenship and designate drug cartels as terrorist organizations.
Wow, that's a major escalation from his first term.
It is.
But what would those policies actually look like in practice? And what would the impact be, not just on the undocumented immigrants themselves, but on the economy as a whole?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about potentially millions of people.
Right.
Could we even see labor shortages in certain industries if there were mass deportations?
It's a complex issue with far-reaching consequences.
Okay.
Some experts argue that mass deportations are logistically impossible and would cripple industries reliant on immigrant labor, like agriculture. Others say it's a necessary step to regain control of our borders and protect American jobs. And then there's the human cost, families being torn apart, the potential for increased discrimination and xenophobia.
Yeah.
These are questions that deserve careful consideration going beyond the sound bites and slogans.
It seems like we're already seeing a pattern here. Bold pronouncements, but a lack of clarity on the specifics and potential downsides. And that brings us to the economy.
Okay.
Trump's talking about tariffs again, not just on China, but potentially on allies like Mexico and Canada, too.
Yeah.
Didn't we just go through this
Right.
with the trade wars in his first term?
Yes. And those tariffs ultimately raised prices for consumers and hurt American businesses.
Right.
Now he's arguing that these new tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and revitalize manufacturing. But critics warn that it could lead to retaliatory tariffs from other countries, escalating tensions and further destabilizing the global economy.
Right.
It's a high-stakes gamble and one that could directly impact your wallet depending on how things play out.
So we've got immigration crackdowns and potential trade wars brewing. What about energy? It seems like he's completely reversing course from the green initiatives of his first term.
Totally. Yeah.
Drill, baby, drill is back. He's pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord and pushing for American dominance in oil and gas.
What's fascinating here is the complete disregard for the global consensus on climate change. Pulling out of the Paris Agreement isolates the U.S. and undermines efforts to reduce carbon emissions. And while promoting fossil fuels might bring short-term economic benefits to certain industries, it comes at a huge cost to the environment.
Yeah.
We're talking about potentially accelerating the effects of climate change, rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and disruptions to ecosystems.
Right.
These are long-term risks that we can't afford to ignore.
It's a stark contrast, isn't it?
Yeah.
On one hand,
Yeah.
we have this image of Trump as a shrewd deal maker focused on winning for America. But on the other hand, these policies seem short-sighted, potentially harming the country and the world in the long run.
It raises an important question. Is this a calculated strategy, or is it driven by ideology and a desire to appeal to his base? Only time will tell.
Right.
But one thing is clear.
What's that?
Trump's second term is off to a dramatic start.
Definitely.
And its effects are already being felt both domestically and internationally.
And we've only just scratched the surface. We'll be back in part 2 to explore the global shockwaves of these policies and delve deeper into the potential consequences of this second term. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Last time we left off talking about how Trump's second-term policies are already creating shockwaves.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to immigration, the economy, and energy.
Yeah, for sure.
But how are these policies reverberating on a global scale?
Well, one of the most striking things is the impact on America's relationships with other countries.
Okay.
His America First rhetoric and actions like pulling out of the Paris Accord and imposing tariffs are creating tension, even with traditional allies.
Yeah, I'm thinking about the articles you shared about the UK, for example.
Right.
They're in a particularly tough spot.
Yeah.
Right? Brexit gave them more freedom to maneuver.
Yeah.
But it also means they need to be careful about balancing their relationship with the U.S. and the EU.
Exactly. They want to maintain that special relationship with the U.S., especially given the potential trade deals that are on the table. But they also need to rebuild trust with the EU after Brexit and can't be seen as simply aligning themselves with Trump's more controversial policies.
It sounds like a diplomatic tightrope walk.
It is.
And what about places like Greenland, which Trump has explicitly mentioned wanting to take back?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not just a diplomatic issue, it's a geopolitical one with a huge implications for international relations.
Absolutely. His comments about Greenland, while vague, raise serious concerns among Arctic nations and NATO allies.
Right.
It signals a potential shift in U.S. foreign policy towards a more assertive, even expansionist approach, which could destabilize already fragile regions. And then there's the question of Ukraine.
Right, that's another potential flashpoint.
Yeah.
Trump has a history of praising Putin.
He does.
And there are worries that he might cut aid to Ukraine or push for a deal that favors Russia, potentially undermining Ukrainian sovereignty.
Some analysts argue that he wouldn't go that far.
Really?
That he wants to be seen as a winner. And a Ukrainian loss wouldn't fit that narrative. But his foreign policy has been notoriously unpredictable, often driven by personal relationships and a transactional approach to diplomacy.
Right.
So it's a situation that bears close watching.
Okay, so internationally, we're seeing a mix of isolationism on issues like climate change, coupled with aggressive posturing in places like Greenland and potential shifts in alliances.
Right.
What about the domestic scene? We talked about the potential economic and social impacts of his policies.
Yeah.
But what about the political landscape? How are those pardons playing out?
The pardons for those involved in the January 6th riot have been incredibly divisive.
Okay.
While his supporters see it as an act of mercy, critics are calling it an abuse of power and a dangerous precedent. It's even causing rifts within the Republican Party, as some members see it as undermining the rule of law.
So even within his own party, there are concerns about his use of executive power. Is that likely to affect his ability to govern and push through his agenda in this second term?
It certainly adds another layer of complexity.
Okay.
He's already facing a divided Congress and a potentially hostile judiciary, and now he has to contend with dissent within his own ranks. It's hard to predict how this will all play out, but it's clear that these pardons have further polarized an already fractured political landscape.
It feels like we're witnessing a power struggle playing out on multiple fronts.
Yeah.
Between the president and Congress, between the U.S. and its allies, and even within the Republican Party itself.
It really is a fascinating time.
It's a lot to process.
It certainly is. And it highlights the importance of paying attention not just to the headlines, but to the underlying dynamics at play. These power struggles are shaping the future of American politics.
Okay.
And will have lasting consequences for all of us.
So we've talked about the global ramifications of Trump's policies, the political battles brewing at home, and the complex power dynamics at play.
Yeah.
But what about the cultural impact of this second term? We touched on this a little in part one,
Sure did.
but I'm curious to explore it further.
You're right. That's a crucial piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
And it's intertwined with everything else we've been discussing.
Yeah.
His rhetoric on immigration, his emphasis on traditional values, his willingness to engage in culture wars. These all contribute to a deepening of the divides within American society.
It's like the country is becoming increasingly polarized,
Yeah.
with people retreating into their own echo chambers and becoming less tolerant of opposing viewpoints.
Exactly. And that lack of dialogue, that inability to find common ground,
Right.
makes it incredibly difficult to address the complex challenges we face as a society.
Oh, okay.
We need to be able to have difficult conversations, to understand different perspectives, and to find ways to bridge those divides.
It's a daunting task, especially in the current political climate.
It is.
But it's also a vital one if we want to move forward as a nation.
Absolutely. And it starts with recognizing the challenges. Being aware of our own biases and engaging in respectful dialogue, even with those we disagree with.
And that's a challenge for all of us, right?
Yeah.
To step outside of our comfort zones.
It is.
To listen with an open mind.
Yeah.
And to strive for understanding, rather than just trying to be right.
It's not easy, but it's essential.
Okay.
And it's a responsibility we all share if we want to create a more just and equitable society.
Okay. We've covered a lot of ground here, from the global impact of Trump's policies to the cultural divides at home. But there's one more crucial aspect of this second term that we need to unpack: his relationship with the media.
Yes. The media. Trump has famously called the press the enemy of the people.
Right.
And his attacks on media credibility have only intensified in his second term. This is a particularly concerning development because it undermines the role of the press in a democracy, which is to hold those in power accountable and inform the public.
And it seems like his supporters are buying into that narrative.
Right.
Increasingly distrusting mainstream media outlets.
Yeah.
And turning to alternative sources for their news.
This is a dangerous trend.
It is.
When people lose trust in established institutions and rely on information from sources that may be biased or unreliable, it creates an environment where misinformation and propaganda can flourish.
And that makes it even harder.
It does.
To have informed, productive conversations about the issues that matter.
Yeah.
It's like we're talking past each other,
Yeah.
unable to agree on a shared set of facts.
Exactly. And that's a recipe for further polarization and division.
Right.
We need to be critical consumers of information, aware of our own biases, and willing to engage with a diversity of viewpoints.
It's a lot to navigate, isn't it?
It is.
From deciphering complex policies to discerning truth from falsehood in the media landscape.
It is. But it's also an opportunity to engage more deeply with the world around us, to become more informed citizens, and to participate in shaping the future we want to see.
We'll delve further into that idea of shaping the future in Part 3, where we'll explore some potential scenarios for what lies ahead and discuss what actions you can take to make difference.
Until then, keep thinking critically, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. In Parts 1 and 2, we explored the whirlwind of Trump's second term. The policies, the global impact, the cultural shifts, and that complicated relationship with the media.
Definitely.
Now let's shift gears a bit and look ahead. What might the future hold?
Predicting the future is always a tricky business, but we can look at potential scenarios based on what we've observed so far.
Right. It's not about having a crystal ball. It's more about analyzing trends, exploring possibilities.
So let's start with a scenario where things go well for Trump. Let's call it Trump triumphant.
Okay.
Imagine a booming economy, illegal immigration significantly reduced, and America asserting its dominance on the world stage.
It's the vision his supporters are hoping for: a strong leader who shakes things up and puts America first. In this scenario, he reshapes global trade, renegotiates deals, and leaves a legacy of American power.
Now let's flip the script and consider a less optimistic scenario. Trump's tumult.
Okay.
Trump's tumult. What if those bold moves backfire? Trade wars cripple the economy. Immigration crackdowns lead to humanitarian crises, and global alliances crumble.
It's a scenario that worries many of his critics.
Yeah.
They see recklessness and a disregard for diplomacy, leading to isolationism and conflict for America.
Of course, there's always a middle ground.
Right.
Let's call this Trump-tempered.
Trump-tempered.
Maybe he learns from his first term,
but can I
more pragmatic, balances America first with global cooperation.
So he focuses on domestic issues, makes some compromises on trade, avoids major international entanglements.
Right.
It's not impossible.
Right. It's certainly possible. But given his personality and what we've seen so far, it might be the less likely scenario.
Okay, so we have three potential paths: triumph, tumult, or tempered. But this isn't just about passively watching events unfold. It's about understanding the forces at play and making informed choices.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
This is where things get really interesting because it's about what you, the listener, can do in the face of this uncertainty.
So let's get practical. What steps can our listeners take?
First and foremost, stay informed. Don't just rely on headlines or social media. Dig deeper, consult a variety of sources, and be willing to challenge your own assumptions.
You talked about critical thinking skills earlier. Those are crucial now.
Absolutely.
Don't get swept up in the emotional rhetoric.
Right.
Look for evidence-based reporting and consider different perspectives.
Second, get involved in your community.
Okay.
Talk to people who hold different views. Find common ground. And work together on local issues.
Because change often starts at the grassroots level.
Exactly.
Participate in local politics.
Yes.
Volunteer for organizations you believe in. Make your voice heard on issues that matter to you.
Third, be mindful of your own actions and how they impact others.
Okay.
Are you contributing to the polarization and division, or are you building bridges and fostering understanding?
It's about taking personal responsibility.
Yeah.
Examining our own biases.
Yeah.
Being respectful in our interactions, choosing empathy over judgment.
And finally, remember that the future isn't set in stone.
Okay.
It's shaped by the choices we make, the actions we take, the stories we tell.
So don't be a passive observer.
Right.
Get out there, engage with the world, make your voice heard, and help create the future you want to see.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into Trump's second term.
We have.
We've explored policies, global dynamics, cultural divides, and potential scenarios for what's to come.
And throughout it all, we've emphasized critical thinking,
Yes.
informed engagement, and personal responsibility.
We hope this deep dive has given you valuable insights, sparked your curiosity, and empowered you to navigate these uncertain times.
Remember, the world is complex and constantly changing.
It is.
But by staying curious, thinking critically,
Absolutely.
and taking action, we can all play a role in shaping a more informed, engaged, and resilient future.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure as always.
We'll see you next time as we explore another fascinating topic.
And don't forget to subscribe to The Deep Dive and check out our Patreon link in the episode description. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.